truthfully, this is so much more scary. Since then, I had a stroke and was diagnosed with aphasia, and now I'm learning to manage it. On April 28, 2020, I suffered a hemorrhagic stroke from a ruptured arteriovenous malformation, or AVM. This is when there is a direct connection between an artery and a vein, and it doesn't pass through capillaries, so it increases the pressure on both the artery and vein. And typically, if a rupture occurs, it happens early in adulthood. So I was very lucky to live a lot of my life already. And so at the time, I was working from home due to COVID and preparing for a Zoom meeting. So I had to take a quick bathroom break. And I collapsed and fell against the bathroom door. So my wife, Carrie, checked on me because the meeting was about to start, and when I didn't respond, she tried opening the door. She was only able to open it enough to reach her arm in and touch my leg, and she was unable to rouse me, so she called 911. And the fire department had to remove the door to reach me, and the EMS rushed me to the nearest hospital. Carrie was prohibited from being in the emergency room due to strict COVID restrictions. They led her into the hospital to meet with the surgeon to discuss options. None of them sounded good. And the surgeon did warn her that my rupture, or they thought it was a tumor at the time, that it was in a place that if they did surgery, I might not speak again. And she thought that would have been horrible for me because I like to speak. So she signed the consent form to allow the surgery to remove what was thought to be a tumor from previous kidney cancer in 2007. They eventually allowed her into the emergency room to say goodbye to me because the chance that I would survive was not very good. During the surgery, it was determined that it wasn't a tumor, but it was an AVM. And the surgeon successfully stopped the bleeding, removed the AVM, and kept me in a medically induced coma for 10 days. Who's that? When I woke up, my right side was paralyzed, and I could only speak single words with great difficulty. My recovery included many weeks of inpatient therapy with no family contact because of COVID. If I needed a change of clothes, I would let Carrie know, or my nurse would let her know, and she could drop it off at the front desk, and that was it. So many weeks without seeing her. But luckily, hi baby.
Say Papa.
That's my granddaughter. Luckily, we used FaceTime. Carrie was able to get an iPad into the hospital where I was, but it wasn't the same as having her by my bedside, holding my hand, kissing me gently. I was very scared, lonely, and often felt helplessness. That should be hopelessness. I had months of in-home and outpatient therapy, relearning to walk, use my right arm, and speak in sentences, which was really quite challenging. I knew I was diagnosed with aphasia. Early on, I didn't realize how much it affected my speech. I often thought I was saying exactly what I was thinking, and I got frustrated when family members and others would try to help me find words. I didn't speak as much or as fast as I had before my stroke. Many times in group conversations, I would try to contribute, but by the time I thought about what I wanted to say and practiced it in my head, everyone else had moved on to another topic. I found that when I was excited about something and wanted to share it with others, when I finally spoke my words, I was usually disappointed that they weren't descriptive enough to where others could share in my enjoyment. I also found that I had the most difficulty when I felt pressured to give a quick answer, such as checking in at an airport or ordering food at a restaurant. I still have difficulty answering questions that I'm unprepared for, and that could be very frustrating. I had never met another person with aphasia until I met Gus Abenito. It was a godsend because he told me about MnCAN groups that he attended and invited me to a conversation group. I went to a meeting the following week, and I knew right away this is what I needed to improve my speaking ability. MnCAN provides supportive spaces for people with aphasia to practice speaking without interruptions or judgment. I participated in a MnCAN conversation group and the drama club for 2 years, and I'm now more confident when speaking in public, participating in small group ordering conversations, and ordering for myself at restaurants. That's big. But for some reason, I still rely on Carrie to answer questions for me at the airport. I don't know why that is. The unpredictability of questions might be the cause. MnCAN provides a unique and valuable service by encouraging people with aphasia to speak and interact with each other, thus giving them the opportunity and courage to find their words and their voices again. I'm honored to serve on the MnCAN board and contribute to helping others. Thank you, MnCAN, for hosting this event, and to all the speech language therapists for their support, especially Jill Dimitri, who facilitates 2 of my groups. I also want to thank my family and friends for their unwavering love and support and encouragement. And my wife Carrie, and my daughter Megan, and her wife Kaylin, and they have twins that turned 2 this week. And you know, they're like me, they have no control over this speech. And I have another daughter who's also married to a woman, Kristen, and they have a baby girl. I call those my triple treats. Thank you for joining us today and for your support of MnCAN. Enjoy the festivities.
well, this job wasn't hard until just now, because that was so powerful. It's like, friends, I think you understand more than ever, I know I do, what this organization is and why it matters. Thank you, Ken, for sharing your story. You are an inspiration to others and an incredible ambassador for Aphasia. Thank you. Well, now we're going to break it up a little bit because we haven't asked you for nearly enough money yet. So we are about to start our live auction, and we have some fabulous items to bid on this evening. And we're doing things with just a little bit of difference from our previous years, because you know what? We get to mature in our awareness of aphasia, and our awareness that everything we do in MnCAN gets to be aphasia friendly, including our auction. So we are going to have a slightly slower paced auction. Most of us marvel an auction, that's kind of what we think of. Well, we have an incredible auctioneer who's going to pause and who's going to slow herself down, and we're also using visual aids tonight so that all of us can keep track of where we're at with the bidding process. So while it might feel a little subdued energetically, you know that it's just that slow intensity that we're going for. So the momentum for giving is no less just because we're slowing it down. We are just making space and holding space for this auction to be full participation for everyone in the room. So with your patience with us as we figure out this new system, will you please help me welcome our auctioneer who's willing to work with us and pause and model aphasia-friendly auctioneer behavior, Laura. Thank you. And do you want me to stand up here and be your helper?
Yeah.
Okay,
You're going to do that. Thank you so much for having me back. This is my third time for the MnCAN Gala. The first one was in that old renovated church where there were about 60 or 65 people. And I'm here to tell you, when you're an auctioneer and you have 4 or 5 auction items and you're doing the fund and need and there's only 65 people in the room, it's a challenge. Like you're going back to the well over and over and over again. Last year, explosion, doubling plus our attendance last year. And now the best problem that you can have, which is you had early registration that was full very early. So congratulations again. And I would just like to also, I couldn't help but acknowledge the 10-year anniversary for this organization. And what better way to do that in thanking Angie and Jessica than to present you with a bottle of wine that they kindly gave me to give to you. And I thought everybody could sing happy 10th anniversary to MnCAN, happy 10th anniversary to MnCAN, happy 10th anniversary to MnCAN, happy 10th anniversary to MnCAN. Enjoy that, like after everybody leaves, or even you can start now if you want. Okay. All right. So also the other thing that I wanted to say is what Nancy was just mentioning about the evolution of the organization, an event like this, where the consideration is given very deeply to members of the audience who are recipients of the servants of whatever the organization is really critical. I had a career in the nonprofit world, and there is no better way to advance the mission than for the voices of the people who are being served by the organization to be represented on the board and in other ways in the organization. So I just want to commend all of you, all of the leadership in MnCAN over the years for recognizing that and making it a reality. It's the best way to know how to serve the people who come to MnCAN for assistance. So congratulations.